All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this storytelling now. So we've got the Empress, the Temperance card, and the Ten of Cups. Well, that is a delightful beginning. I mean, simply delightful. We've got a life of contentment and balance. Now, this could be someone who's simply hoping for that, or this could be somebody who's achieving it, or somebody who's focusing on creating it for themselves. Being in an empowered, like mindset, certainly I think is a better way to invite these things into our lives. So we've got a character who really believes in the power to produce this. Let's change decks. Seven of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, the Devil, but in a good position, and the Ace of Wands in a good position. Okay, so the Seven of Pentacles is the only card that's in the negative position, because we see someone who's like, oh my gosh, I've got everything, but I'm still bored with it. Okay, so it's basically saying, you know what? When is this going to get good? Like, I'm ready for the good stuff. I'm manifesting the heck out of it. I've created a ton of other wonderful things in my life. So when do I get that other really like fulfilled energy? And with this Five of Pentacles in a positive position, maybe it's someone's about to like have that sense of awareness that, like, wait a minute, maybe I've been waiting for all of this happiness to come in, when in fact this is the good part. Every day is the good part. I'm not struggling to figure out how to pay my bills. I'm not under crushing stress right now. I'm having, I've got enough food to eat. I'm single, and I've got my like health. I've got, there's so many little things that we take for granted until we hit these other bumps in the road. And with the Devil in the really in the Angel's position, right? This is in the reversal, where there is no devil here. There's actually only a sense of gratitude. It's looking at things from a different perspective. Or unless we're to say at some point in time, the devil can show up in a very like alluring, it smells sweet, it looks good, and it turns out like, don't touch that. That's the fruit that you don't want to take a bite of. That's poison fruit. But I don't see it that way. I see this as there isn't really a toxic energy anymore. I just feel, again, like someone, they're coming to this conclusion where it's like, if I was waiting for life to get really amazing, the bottom line is my life is amazing. I'm already there. And that further changes the energy of our character, because they become very cognizant of the fact that there isn't any waiting required to be happy. They're already powerful. They already have a Ten of Cups. Do they have every little detail of what they want? No. But this would be an example of someone who's very, like, we'll use the word blessed. They have so much abundance. They have so many things going for them. But maybe this little piece of them kept saying, then why am I just like, what is it that I'm waiting for to get better? And they needed to see their life in a lens. Maybe, sometimes it takes a good friend to walk up and say, what do you mean you're not fully satisfied? You've got, you look good, you're young, and, you've got your life together, and you've got all this success, and you've got all kinds of things going for you, and you have the freedom to, live your life and think about like all these other things that could be not accessible to you. Like, how could you not think that you're already like an amazing person who's achieved a ton, and that your life is really a marvelous and wondrous thing? And it could be that someone says this to this character and they go, holy smokes, I didn't see myself in that light before. You're right. Gosh darn it. Well, dang, I should be reveling in living the good life. I should be more excited about my every single day. I think that this character knows that they're abundant, but I think that there was still some little, I almost feel like this character is going to be a little bit like, gosh, I'm kind of embarrassed that I didn't fully like value all that I am, all that I've achieved, all that I've been gifted, as far as like being a human being that's alive on this planet at this moment in time, and all the things that are accessible to me that maybe weren't accessible to my ancestors. And, there's a lot of positives. And I think that this character is just like, They're so revved up about it right now. They see it for what it is. They see the value, they see the happiness. We've got a Queen of Swords and we've got that Nine of Swords. And this Queen of Swords was there was an anger. Our character had been holding on to some kind of an anger deep down, and that's what they're freeing themselves from, because this Nine of Swords is actually like the swords are moving away from them. I think that we've had a character whose life has actually been sparklingly good, but they had some thorn. You know how like you could feel terrific, but if you get a splinter under your fingertip, oh, that's all you feel, right? That's the thing. And you'd think, well, it's so tiny, why am I focusing on it? There was a hurt, there was an anger. It had to do with an Emperor in the reverse and a Two of Cups in the upright. So against this backdrop of this otherwise incredibly happy life that our Empress is lucky enough to have, the thing that was hurting, the thing that was that sore spot, the thing that made this otherwise amazing individual have this secret simmering, like I always feel like it's an anger that was really taking its toll on her. This is not someone who typically holds grudges, but she was holding a grudge. She, he, doesn't matter. I don't read for genders, but right now I'm just going to read it as we see it. We have a divine feminine who is an Empress, but somewhere deep down, they were holding a very sharp grudge, and it was tainting every other aspect of their otherwise fabulous life. And it was to do with an Emperor who either didn't step up, couldn't step up, was disempowered. They didn't step up. And unfortunately, where this hurt comes from, where this anger comes from, is that the Two of Cups is still upright. This is like she's saying, I met my person and my person didn't step forward. How could that be when I feel this bond? So of course, like, no matter how great life is, when there's something as important as this, and this is important, there's no small potatoes, right? An Emperor and an Empress, it's a divine union. So when one person is sitting here going, I don't get why my Emperor, of all people in this world, I mean, I can handle having anything fall apart, but of all things in this world, why is this the one thing that had to fall apart? The one thing that I couldn't have? Like, I would have traded every other aspect of, success maybe to be able to have this, but instead I get all this other success in my life, but I can't have this. Why is that? It kind of is like, wow, universe, way to play a cruel joke on me. I can have all this success, but I can't have my other half. I can't have my Emperor. And there's love here. There's a bond, but I can't seem to have that. So that's what the underlying hurt was. But she's letting go of it. She's letting go of the stress. How is she doing that? I think that's remarkable. And I can also understand our character's position, understand that hurt energy, because that's a really big thing to not be able to achieve. And instead of being like, oh, come on, Empress, you've got all this other great stuff, why don't you just focus on that? It's like, yeah, that's true. And that's a valid point. And she says that's a valid point. And that's why she's being, passionate about living her life. But I would still say we can see through her eyes why there would be this underlying frustration that for a while maybe had the power to taint or discolor all the rest of her joy. It's like having a beautiful sunshiny day out there, but you're looking at it through like a filthy, dirty window. We need to wipe that window clean, before we can see how beautiful the day really is out there. And that's what she's doing. She's trying to let go of this stress, and is letting go of the stress. And I said, how is she doing it? Page of Swords, Two of Pentacles. She is opening herself up and saying, okay, well, what was I supposed to learn about this? What can I learn from this so it doesn't have to be painful or hurtful? How can I make peace with this? How can this make me a more flexible person, a more, just a better version of me, someone who can roll with what happens in life? Because I feel like she's somebody who's used to being able to work hard, organize her life, have success. And then there's this huge thing that is way beyond any of her control, which is to have an Emperor feel like an Emperor. She can't make them feel that way. Why do they not feel like an Emperor? I'm sorry, I have to go down that road. Seven of Swords. Well, they may never have been an Emperor. She might have been frustrated and upset about something that wasn't true at all. Because this is lies. lies that were told and left here all strung together, one lie bound to another, bound to another. She may not have known much about this person. Now they're in a hangdog position here. They feel crummy about this. But if they sold her a bill of goods and intuitively she knew it, but she didn't have enough information to wholeheartedly know it. So no wonder there's the frustration and the anger, because it's like so maddening to not just have clarity on what were the lies about. All I know is that there were lies, but I don't know what they are. The emperor, they told some kind of lies here. They could not move forward. Oh. They had no ability, or they had no intention of moving anything forward with her. There was no Three of Wands future on their mind. Not really. Maybe because they actually were already with someone else, because they're already a King of Wands to someone. My dog just groaned back there like, oh, no. I'm thinking it too. Oh, no. Three of Pentacles. Yeah, they were already deeply invested in something else, according to this. Five of Swords. And what's crazy is they didn't even feel bad about it. They just like omitted it. They lied through omission. They didn't really try to prevent that information from coming out per se. They just kind of, this is somebody who just does whatever they want, I guess. They tell lies to get what they want. Eight of Swords, and when it gets to be too many lies to keep up, they just disappear. And then they leave the other person without answers. And so the only thing anybody can do is to free themselves from, like, okay, fine. All I know is the person lied. I don't know what the lies were about, but I got to free myself from wondering what was the truth. Because this is a character who was already invested elsewhere. They weren't an emperor. That's what the big secret was. They weren't an emperor. Five of Cups, but unfortunately, and then the King of Cups. This person was a fake. There, that's all it was. She met a fake. But because even though all the signs were there that this person was a fake, she still didn't see it, didn't have it sink in, didn't have it. They might have been greedy to get her to give them emotion. You notice how this King of Cups is in the negative, and they're hungry, like, give me attention. I wanted your attention. I want to deplete you of all of your beautiful emotions because it fills up my hungry spot that I have. I need you to tell me that I'm important. I'm not an emperor. I said I was, but I lied a lot about it. In fact, I had built something with someone else and they didn't give me everything I wanted. So I felt entitled to come and get it from you, to tell you whatever lies I needed to get it from you. Like that's what they're saying to this Empress, even though they won't say it. That's the problem. They leave everything unspoken. So no wonder she's been hurt and angry and focused on it, because it's maddening. It's craziness to be able to see someone's behavior, but keep thinking, but there's no way that someone could really behave that way, right? In this storyline, it says they did behave that way, but the sooner she releases herself from trying to figure this out, the better off she'll be. Let me get one other card on that Two of Cups, because in her mind, she's like, but they said all these things that they loved me. We have a King of Swords that's sideways. She said, but it was real. And this says yes and no. I'm sorry. I know this isn't such a light and fluffy storytelling, right? It was real. It was as real as a fake person can be, though. And we have the World card in the negative position. Sorry, I have to cover it because it's a dual-sided card here, and on either side, there's not enough clothing on it for me to show the whole card. Here's the only way I'm going to say it, and then we're going to quit talking about this storyline, because she's better now. She's releasing this. She kept saying, though, but we had something real. It was real love. They were my twin flame. And the answer to that was, in this storyline, was that a King of Swords sideways is someone, especially when we couple it with the World card in the reverse, They wanted very much, when they were saying those words to her, they loved that vibe. King of Swords should be clear, concise, and truthful. King of Swords in the reverse is someone who is not fair, not balanced, and can go into silent mode. Put the whole card sideways, and my interpretation is this person let there be lies through omission. We saw it before. We saw direct lies, and we saw lies by omission. They said enough that any reasonable character would have said, they feel this with me too. I'm the one for them. They're the one for me. We have this unbreakable bond. It's unlike anything else. They said that. That's what a reasonable person would have interpreted their words or their lack of correction to mean. But a King of Swords sideways, they neither confirm nor deny. They leave ambiguity in everything, so they always have a loophole. They allow their actions to look like, oh my God, yes, this is amazing. It's everything that I want. Because remember, their goal was to actually come in and gobble up all of the cups of love that she could possibly bestow upon them. So if their goal was to get as much emotion because they were so hungry for someone to care about them, I want all of your cups. I'll give you the illusion that I'm going to give to you in return, but really I'm just here to gobble, 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 drink, drink, drink all of the emotions that you've got, which is why she was so depleted here. I never said I was going to give it back to you. Not really. Not if we define what words were really spoken. There was just enough deniability, but also just enough agreement to make this really confusing, because they also kind of wanted to keep a door open in case they were coming back around. That's how I interpret this. Very unpleasant character. That, to me, that makes really perfect sense, that that she would have been bitter over this for some time, to the point where it was discoloring her vision of all of the other beautiful parts of her life, because this was such a whopper of a confusion. And I always say that I don't read stories about, like, really toxic types of things, but this is about as ugly a story as I've ever had. If this person who behaved this way, I mean, that, to me, that's someone who, wow, whatever created this behavior in them must have been a pretty unpleasant road of life that they went down, to be so hungry and so greedy that they feel entitled to try to have anyone satisfy that hunger that they have, to be made to feel important. That's all kinds of stuff that they need to go work on in themselves. And of course, that character wasn't going to be able to come in and say, hey, listen, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to persuade you to give me every ounce of caring, because I need to be cared about. I need that from somebody. And you have a lot of caring. So I want you to fall madly in love with me so that I can feel what it feels like to be loved. But I don't love anybody in return. I can't do that. If they had walked in and said that, she would have been like, oh, no, thanks. But she wasn't given that opportunity or that accommodation. He, remember, I don't read for genders. This could be same-sex couple, this could be reverse gender roles, but the bottom line is she's no longer letting that discolor all this other abundance in her life. This is her releasing the stress and tension, because it's like, I get it now. That person, I didn't miss out on this amazing, once in a lifetime opportunity that was so confusing. Like, why would this emperor not step up and be my emperor? I mean, we were soulmates, twin flames, 2 of cups. She's realizing it now. Wait a minute. They needed me to love them. They did what they had to get me to give them an authentic love, because they were so hungry to be cared about. It was all about them. And if she's realizing, well, that person has a lot more problems than I'm ever going to have, if that's how they go around operating in life. Holy smokes, my life is so much better. I do have more blessings. And second to that, I don't behave that way toward anybody. So I know I'm in a better, head and heart space. And now that I can let this one go, I'm not missing out on the love of a lifetime. I actually was with someone or had fallen in love with someone who was not who they seemed to be. And although that could, on one hand, sometimes make someone more bitter, it's not. It's setting her free. And I can see why. I hope I've explained that in a way. Remember, she said, what do I need to learn about this? How can I become a more flexible individual because of what has happened? And it was to gain understanding and comprehension of why things went the way they went. That is a remarkable, this is truly letting go of the hurt, the pain, the frustration. And it's so positive because it puts her focus back on her amazing life. Remember, we began with an Empress who feels balanced and who is headed for the full 10 of Cups. She already loves her life. She has always loved her life. But for a while, that deep disappointment was really, like I say, it was like the splinter in your hand where the rest of your body can feel great, but that splinter in your fingertip can hurt so much that it kind of eclipses everything else in your whole body, in your whole world, in your whole life. She's no longer being eclipsed. It all fits together now. It makes sense. So that was a heavy one, but it had such a resolution to it, and I feel like, I can breathe easier for this character now. There's not even bitterness in this. There's a total freedom from that. I think that the biggest thing that she would have been sad about is if she was sitting there going, oh my God, I missed out on the love of my life. And now she's like, I didn't miss out on the love of my life. I didn't at all. In fact, quite the reverse. That wasn't the love of my life. Okay. Erased. So that's what we've got on this one. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of my world. I appreciate each and every one of you. All right. Bye for now.